Hello there and welcome to June. May is over, but there's still more LEGO Star Wars because this month we've got 3 brand new sets hitting shelves in LEGO stores near you. First off is the Koon Microfighter. We took a look at that with the Arc 170, and I must say I really didn't think LEGO were going to be able to beat the Rex Y-Wing, which was a pretty great microfighter to get, but the headpiece alone for Koon is definitely what will win a load of people over. We also took a look at Darth Maul's mech. In fact, we improved Darth Maul's mech, gave it 6 extra legs, 4 extra legs, and turned it into this spider mech, which would have been perfect following Luke's X-Wing mech to get something like that representing the Spider Maul that we see in the Clone Wars. But today we're going to be making them both minifigure scale, and I think we'll start off with Darth Maul. Maul, formerly Darth. Over the years we have got a few official Maul variants from LEGO directly, starting off with the first appearance in The Phantom Menace, the revival of our favourite Sith in the Clone Wars, and then later on a cameo in the Solo story, which I'm really hoping to see more of this Maul and Kira's training in the new Shadow Lord season. But there are also a few different Mauls that I haven't picked up, one of which this exclusive poly bag that looks a lot like the mech LEGO put out. To make the new mech minifigure scale, I have designed my own torso, which you can actually buy. I'll leave this and the other one linked in the description, so don't check yet if you don't want to be spoiled for what's coming up in this video. Front and back, and it's designed to look like the Season 7 Darth Maul with the shirt off, not the earlier appearance like we did with the modified mech. This one is to go with LEGO's official set as the instructions get you to build it. And for those of you that might prefer a more classic look to this Darth Maul, may I also recommend upgrading the arms to a nice bright red, or if you have them at your disposal, using the Mr. Incredibles and Incredibles family arms, which have the red top and the black bottoms, because this newer version of Maul does have some really nice lower arm sleeves, which if Maul is keeping the belt, I'm sure he'll probably be wearing those too. But this isn't the only LEGO piece that I will be selling. You may know my biggest gripe with the brand new Koon Microfighter we have built here is the fact we only get the head for Koon's R7. So whilst I was creating a torso for Maul, I have also created some bodies for the droids, which you can also purchase on my website. Again, all details are in the description, and I think this is definitely something LEGO should have included in the advent calendar. Can we hope they've made a mistake and we're not getting Ahsoka's droid, it's actually Plo's? I don't think so, considering we now have official images. But if you're looking for a body that's a bit more updated than the last one, and yes, does come with that back printing that we've seen on, well, a few R2-D2s and Chopper, then look no further and keep your eye out for more pieces like this in the future. That felt way too easy. Can we even call that making a mech minifigure scale? At that point, isn't that just straight up a custom minifigure? What you clicked on this video to find out is how we can make Koon's Microfighter minifigure scale. We're going with LEGO's minifigure scale here, what they tend to stick with for their UCS sets, and that's 1/45 minifigure scale. We've seen a few ships, maybe the A-Wing is around 130, might even be bigger than that, and we've also seen the gunship, which floats about 130, but the AT-AT, the Falcon, the Slave One, you know, all the really good UCS sets. No offense to the A-Wing, I love the A-Wing, but the most of them use 145. So what does that look like using the official set? Well, here's the thing. To make an accurate minifigure scale Plo Microfighter, we can't use the pieces, or at least most of the pieces from this Microfighter. These wedges on the side to bulk out this Microfighter are just too big to use in a minifigure scale. We could try blowing it up to 130, but then you're making it 6 studs wider than it needs to be. Already it's looking a little wide for something as quite narrow and long as a Delta. So we're not going to be using the official set. We can switch that to the side and instead bring in our modified minifigure scale Kenobi Delta. Obviously this looks nothing like Koon Starfighter, so we're going to sprinkle it with a few droid bodies, and here we have our Koon Delta Starfighter. In just a second, we'll be taking a look at all the details I've managed to copy from the fan favorite modified minifigure scale. This is an alternate build. You don't need any more pieces if you already own that Kenobi Jedi Starfighter set, and also some of the new features that Plo's Delta needs compared to someone like Kenobi, because it is a completely different design, and whilst the basis of the ship is fairly similar, the top is completely overhauled. Similar to Kenobi's Delta, the underside probably looks a bit familiar. We've got these engines with the lightsaber clip holding on the saber and the satellite dish being held on the underside. But I'm not sure the top could look much different if we tried. It's different for every single Jedi. We've got a few similar features, like the droid on this left wing, roughly in the same position, the scorch marks on the back of the wing here, and of course the cockpit, which allows our Jedi to get into the ship, and also space underneath this brick here for the body of the droid. But this won't be too important unless you order that body using the link below, or at least have one of the older versions lying around, which I guess would suffice if you don't mind too much about backprinting. This exact design for the Plo Koon Delta has actually been around for quite some time over on my Rubricable page, as I made this about the same time that I made Kenobi's Delta, and that set has been out for now its 3rd year. Do you think that's going to stick around like the ATTE? The nose of this Delta has been rounded off because, unlike Kenobi's Delta, we're not limited to the parts in one set, and if we were just going by the micro, you'd need at least 3 of the microfighters to build this out. Let me know if you would like me to pick up a few of the extra pieces and see if I can build this using only the pieces from the set. I think that would be a really fun challenge to build live on stream. As with Plo's Delta, we've got some of the white stripes down the side of the wing, as you can see, and then on the wing, both wings built a little differently to give that space for the droid head, held on by one stud, so that we are able to rotate it and spin it around without the need of a jumper plate or jumper tile, which when you're working in dark blue can get pretty pricey. So I thought I'd stick with the basics and use a stud instead, whereas we've got an extra 2x2 chi slope on the other wing. You could probably try to work a stud in that gap illegally, but we're sticking with legal techniques for now. And though LEGO prefer oversized ships such as Jedi Bob's Delta, we've actually done a video comparing LEGO's playset scale, LEGO's microfighter scale, and my minifigure scale, which is in between both of them. I prefer this for the swooshability. You can hold it comfortably in the wings. There's not too many plates and too many elements that they'll start falling off if you swoosh this around too vigorously. And it also looks cool next to the Arc 170, which isn't quite minifigure scale, but it's a lot closer to this than it is scaled with the microfighter. The best thing I think about both of these ships, the microfighter and my minifigure scale custom, is, as you can see, there are exactly 0 stickers on these entire builds. I'm very happy LEGO didn't start putting stickers on the microfighters. They definitely don't need them. And as for any of the details on Plo's fighter, sure, maybe a little 1x2 sticker down here would just bridge that gap to these stripes at the front. But it's really not necessary because we've got the white slope down the side, and also just the fact that it looks so clean without any stickers. Let me know what you think down in the comments, but personally, I'm not a massive fan of stickers. The scaling of them is also nice because whereas the minifigure scale version is roughly 2/3 of the size of LEGO's typical playset, Jedi Bob's fighter, and what we saw with Kenobi, and I'm sure likely the next few going forward. If I line up the backs of both these Deltas, you can see, okay, the camera angle is a little weird, but it's just over half the size, this microfighter, of the minifigure scale. So I guess this is undersized, and then we've also got the regular oversized version. My favorite thing about creating minifigure scale ships is of course the fact that we can compare their sizes with different ship models that are in the Star Wars universe. Here is the Delta side by side with the Eater. So on the left we have the Jedi Starfighter, whereas on the right we have the Jedi Interceptor, which is basically the same difference between a TIE Fighter and a TIE Interceptor. Speaking of which, here is Vader's TIE next to the Jedi Starfighter. You can see it's a bit bulkier and whilst it is slightly shorter in length, it makes up for that massive body of the ship where Vader's definitely got, you know, a sleeping quarters and maybe even a PlayStation 5 like the Dark Falcon. And those wings are, well, the wings are like two deltas side by side. We then also have the two Jedi deltas that I've built now, Kenobis and Plo Koons, and these look so good next to each other. I definitely want to work on Ahsoka's, Anakin's, even remaking Windu's when we were looking back through the old sets. I think this size of ship is perfect because we should be getting some droid speeders, maybe even some, you know, Wolfpack clone troopers with this because, well, if you weren't aware, the astromech that actually comes in the microfighter, albeit without a torso, is the one that Plo Koon uses in the Clone Wars. That's right. This microfighter, much like Rex last year, is another Clone Wars set. Well, who do you think we'll get in a Clone Wars microfighter next year? Because the astromech that Plo does use in Revenge of the Sith is a silvery blue kind that we're yet to see in LEGO, though I'm sure there'll be some customs so that Plo's microfighter goes awesome on display with the brand new ARC 170 we got in January. If you wanted to see how Plo's Delta looks next to the ARC 170, well, I've already broken down my ARC 170 and turned it into this Headhunter alternate mock. So you'll have to use a little bit of your imagination here, but it's roughly the same size and very similar build to the ARC 170 playset. So I think they're going to look amazing on the shelf, especially if you want to display Plo's microfighter or modified Delta in the middle with two ARC 170s behind. Just make sure your Plo minifigure is monitoring all those clone transmissions because that minifigure is going to be worth quite a bit in the future unless everyone stocks up on the microfighter and then there's so many on the market that it's actually worthless. But either way, I'm very happy with LEGO's quality going forward. Could we get the astromech body in this? I know LEGO have never done that before, so this isn't something that's strange. It's just a load of us fans really wanted the Plo Koon droid body in the same set and not having to fork out for an expensive custom, which is why I've gone ahead and created my own for you. Again, check out both the links down below. Let me know what you think of this Plo modified ship. I will leave the instructions also in the description, and I hope you enjoyed this video. Until next time, may the bricks be with you, always.